too, I believe.
Okay, well, we can do Z-52, but is that ranked?
Yes.
Hmm.
It's on
Okay.
Warrior's Path.
Alright, Z-52 it is.
Now, would that be your pick for this season for destroyers?
Nope.
Really?
Why? Nothing else.
Radar Yu Yang?
Mm-hmm.
Good to know. Because we've had a lot of conversations about it, about that decision, and a lot of people are saying Z-52. I don't know too many that are really into the Gearing Shima camp. Some are, of course, but...
Shiamakaze still seems to be the most popular destroyer. I don't know how much of it's just because they don't have any other destroyers to take.
Right.
Anyways, the main reason I like Yu Yang is because she absolutely runs over every other destroyer. Except Cobb, but she's not much of a destroyer anyways. So, if we look at it, if we compare YY and Z-52, like Z-52 has excellent hydro. It goes up for about 2 minutes, 2.5 minutes-ish or so. And YY has a 28-second radar. But the differences in DPS is insane. YY is like over 2,000 DPS from her HE, whereas Z-52 is like 135k. So
Wow.
there's almost like a 50% difference in HE firepower. Of course, people will say that Z-52 can also use AP to even a fight, but practically speaking, that doesn't really happen. Like, no destroyer is going to show broadside for longer than 1 or 2 seconds.
Right, so you find that in a gunfight, the Yu Yang is going to outshoot the Z-52.
Mm-hmm.
In most situations.
Mm-hmm. Outside of just staying broadside, which is a player problem rather than a ship problem, Yu Yang's going to win 9.9 out of 10 times.
Gotcha. Now, the Zed does have some other assets, like the torpedoes that can hit destroyers, and you can spam these relatively quickly.
Mm-hmm.
And it has smoke.
Yep. The Z-52 smoke hydro combo works against every other destroyer, just not Radar Yu Yang, for obvious reasons.
Sure. Now, what do you think of this matchup here? I'm seeing a lot of players that I recognize, like JCF 150, Cat on Board, over 999,000, Victo B, Compass Ghost. So, put yourself in the shoes of that Z-52. You look at your matchmaker. What are you thinking?
Okay, so first I'll analyze the threats. So that would be Minotaur, because I'm expecting him to carry radar, Moskva, because he does have radar, and that's actually it. Shimakaze will lose to a Z-52 in a fair gunfight, so I'm not going to prioritize him as much, but I will hunt him down when I get the chance.
Mm-hmm.
If we're looking at player skill matchup, I think, this team, the Z-52's team, is actually a little bit better.
Just because of the people you recognize?
Mm-hmm.
I would agree. I don't know. I mean, Compass I usually see playing Battleship, and I ran into him doing Yamato later on in the season. Victo B, I haven't seen him play ever, really. I just know the name. So, and our guy here in the Z-52, I've seen him do a lot of crazy things in ranked, so I know he's a good player.
Mm-hmm.
Alright, well, let's continue the game then and see what happens. This is a solo destroyer game, so in that situation, you send one cruiser to C-Cap, which looks like the Hindenburg's going to go do.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's Cat on board. He can operate on his own.
So it looks like it's a rather standard ship distribution. You'll have Z-52 go to the autocap spot in A. You'll have a Hindenburg take C and provide some fire support. And what about the battleships? That's also quite important.
Yeah, I would like to see a battleship personally going to the 2 line, so he can get flank shots up north. Maybe the Yamato.
Mm-hmm. So, do you want to explain why you don't want your battleships in close proximity to each other?
Yeah, I've harped on that so many times, but yeah, you end up with basically the shots all coming in from the same angle, so it's a lot easier to angle towards all 3 of those threats than to 3 different sides. And also, you lose the projection of power. If that Yamato posts up over at H2, most ships aren't going to try to push it out in open water, so that kind of forces them to go elsewhere.
Mm-hmm. Yamato's position is probably a little bit more important because he can overmatch everything in the game.
Right.
Montana has to get into a very advantageous position and find people's broadsides.
Yep. Real quick, check on flags, credit reduction, consumable reload, and no detonation, of course, speed flag, and commander XP. I'm not seeing any of the HE flags or the flood chance flags. Those would be useful, right?
Yep. Z-52 especially has problems lighting fires and causing flooding, so those flags should be on if they're available.
Alright, now I see our guy here is not going for the ACAP initially, probably expecting to get radared if he does, so he's instead looking probably for that Shimakaze.
Mm-hmm. It's a bit of a problem because Shimakaze has 5.6 concealment versus Z-52 6.1. It's like 500 meters doesn't sound like much, but it's massive in a destroyer fight. So he's now RPF located, so he should be trying to use that to determine where's the approximate location of that ship that has RPF.
Yep. Now I paused the video so you can catch up.
Oh
but,
no.
Now you see why I paused it. So we've detected the Minotaur, and the thing about radar Minotaur is, if you detect the Minotaur, then he can just radar, and, well, IHSM is doing something that you typically don't want to see destroyers do, which is panic, turn south, and show full broadside to a Minotaur.
Mm-hmm.
But, if you guys noticed, he popped his speed boost and then slowed down. So he used that little trick to stop quicker than he would normally stop, I think.
Yep. That is the Unicum tactic to dodging shells.
And notice the priority target marker, he was targeted by 5 ships, now down to 4. And did you notice he also has incoming fire alert?
It's hard to tell because they're using different icons.
Yeah, you're gonna see it in a second here. They're gonna flash as I start continuing the battle.
Okay, there it goes.
Yep.
Minotaur going out like that is definitely unexpected. It's a huge gamble since Minotaur is also very vulnerable.
And you could totally tell that that IHSM was expecting to run into the Shimakaze, like you were talking about with radio location and that sort of thing. And because of the concealment difference, going into that head-on makes perfect sense, right? Because by the time Shima detects you, it's too late. You've already overcome that concealment difference.
Okay, so somehow the Moskva randomly exploded, and Minotaur randomly exploded.
And why did that happen?
Okay.
Look at the battleships down south, everybody, on the mini-map. Look at this. We've got 3 different spread-out locations. The Montana whacked the Moskva, who backed up too far. The Yamato and Republic both shot and nailed their Minotaur. That's why you spread out your battleships.
Mm-hmm. Moskva didn't pick a very good island to hide behind, and JCF managed to get 1 good broadside. And that's something you don't want to happen in Moskva, especially against the Montana.
Yep. And now Cat on Board is pushing up with the Montana. I mean, they're up 2 ships. What are they afraid of, right?
Mm-hmm. And Z-52 is pretty much both major threats are gone. I don't even get this fortunate in my ranked games. Like, I can understand Minotaur doing that because it's definitely a risk. So he might have been trying to trade his Minotaur for the only destroyer, which would have definitely been an advantage. Moskva had no business dying though.
Yeah, that was unfortunate. You could almost tell that Victor realized he made a mistake as well when he got spotted. Completely out of position for him as well.
Mm-hmm. And then beaching is about the last thing you want to do when you're the Minotaur.
He took it up the butt. And now we know where the Shima is. So now, interestingly enough, he's not running his Hydro. I would have probably popped my Hydro just to detect any torpedoes launched from the Shima at the Republic or the Hindenburg.
Same here. Like, there's no other reason to hold it at this point.
Now, he could have also charged the island that the Shimakaze was probably hiding behind as a way to light him up permanently for a bit. But I'm not sure what he's looking to do here. What do you think?
He's going to the left, so I think he might be trying to get torp angles on that Yamato that's going in. If he goes to the right, if he doesn't play it properly, he'll get spotted by Shimakaze, and he might end up losing the rest of his health. There's no need to play that aggressively.
Right.
He just keeping Yamato and Montana spotted for the rest of the team to focus on is probably good enough at this point. But then again, he's turning back.
Well, and the thing too is, like, in a situation like this, you're up 2 ships, you've got 2 caps to their 1. There's absolutely no reason to push in. Like, look at where this Minotaur is on the minimap. Why is he doing that, right? Because as soon as he gets spotted, he's in a prime position to just get blapped.
It's actually fine because he's using that island to as a buffer between Yamato and Montana. He knows where their positions are, so he can safely move up. He's only really worried about the Republic on the other side of the map, but I don't think he has shots anyways.
Okay, good point.
Yeah. I think Minotaur is... What the heck happened to Hindenburg?
He got burned down.
Okay.
Probably by Compass Ghost and Republic, maybe secondaries, because it was a fire from the Republic.
So if I was Minotaur, I would randomly spot the Shimakaze. So that... but Compass is about to die here. He only has 9k health. Minotaur is going to just raid our Shimakaze and hopefully kill him.
Yep. Now, as Red Sea Bear is pointing out in chat, you've got the ship lead, you've got the points lead, time to execute throw maneuver.
Well, we have to keep ranked interesting now.
And it wouldn't be interesting if it weren't for all those stupid throws, right?
Yep. I mean, in the King of the Seas final, people thought that we were throwing just so we can get more giveaways.
I couldn't believe that. And when you took the Kerr first build, you just shoved it in there. I couldn't believe people were saying that you guys were just purposely trying to throw to see what would happen.
At first glance, it may look like we're just throwing or just trolling them. But no, it's a legitimate strategy once you understand the purpose of it.
And it almost worked. That was the interesting part.
So after the play at A, where he face spotted the Minotaur and watched both radar cruisers die, he hasn't really played this part very well. Like, he should have been able to keep perma-spotting on Yamato and Montana, but he hasn't done that. And he's not really contributed anything else. Like, he could have given Hindenburg smoke, he could have given Minotaur smoke, but he's not really done any of that.
Yeah, he's not executing team play, is he? Uh-oh. Look at the Republic in Montana.
Uh-huh. Man to man. Mano a mano. Looks like Montana will be going for the ram, which would be perfectly fine at this point. What? They didn't ram?
No, if you look at the thing there, he juked it with speed boost apparently.
Makes sense. Yeah, French battleships are surprisingly hard to aim at. And why did Minotaur just take a torp?
I don't know. Like I said, execute throw maneuver.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so Minotaur's making love to Yamato, and Republic is right there.
Yeah, I mean, he's in a really bad position.
Z-52 should be using Hydro at some point.
He hasn't used it yet this game.
Mm-hmm. I'm just wondering, is that key broken or something?
Maybe it is.
JCF actually played that one pretty well in the beginning. He got a nice devastating strike against the Moskva. But yeah,
Yep.
his execution in the mid-later game was dubious.
Yep. I think IHSM here is trying not to put himself in a position where he can throw away his life, but I think he's playing a little bit too passively there. And I've seen this happen to me all the time, where you say, we got the win, don't push, blah, 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 and then the team goes and dies, and you're just sitting back like, hey guys, I'm living, why aren't you?
Mm-hmm. He is not pressing his spotting advantage. Like, that's the whole point of playing Destroyer. If you're up one Destroyer, they have none, you spot the living daylights out of them. Make sure they can't hide.
Right.
Like, he's not been using that advantage at all this game.
Yep, and screen for torpedoes, stuff like that.
Mm-hmm. He didn't even really take good track of Shimakaze.
Also, if you take a look at this, he's about to win the battle and he's done 0 damage. All he's done is capture a flag.
Mm-hmm. That's not uncommon to see in Destroyers.
Mm-hmm. That was one thing that I commented on. You know, a lot of people think that XP is the best metric of what you've done for the game, and I disagree. Especially if you're playing Destroyer, especially at tier 10, capping gives you nothing for XP.
Mm-hmm. Unfortunately, Destroyers are just not rewarded for their actions.
Right.
Like, they perform a lot of vital actions like spotting, torp screening, taking caps, but unfortunately the current rank system does not reward that.
Absolutely. Yeah, I've had people comment, they'll send me messages after the game and say, hey, you know, you didn't score high on the scoreboard, but you're the reason we won that match, you know? And I mean,
Mm-hmm.
that's awesome. That's why I like playing the Destroyer.
Same here. Like, my efforts may go unrewarded in the end game, but it doesn't matter as long as I get that star.
Mm-hmm.
So for that ranked game, I don't think I would have pushed out that far in the beginning when he went to A. Like, he got very lucky that his battleships were able to take advantage and kill both radar cruisers.
Yeah, that was a super aggressive push, and if his battleships weren't all intelligent, I mean, all 3 of those battleships, I believe, are Unicum players. And the fact that they recognize the importance of cross shots, I don't know about you, but man, there have been games where I've tried to explain that concept to so many battleship players who just want to huddle together, and they think that, you know, staying together for warmth is a good thing. And
Mm-hmm.
you know, so he had a lot of factors going for him, right? Like, that saved his butt.
Yeah.
And you're right. I think his initial play was way, way too aggressive because I think he was just trying to catch the Shima out and take him out right away.
But even then, as a Shimakaze, I probably wouldn't go there. Like, there's too many problems with that. Like, Shimakaze outspots him by 500 meters. There's no way he's going to be able to spot him for long.
Right.
And he's just going to expose. Like, if he spots him, Shima's just going to turn away. Like, yeah, he can activate Hydro to spot him at 5.8, 5.9. But if he opens fire, then he's going to get shot at for the next 20 seconds. So there's not really a winning way he's just going to lose HP. That's the problem. He just got very lucky that his battleships were on point.
Right, exactly. And he's very unlucky the enemy battleships were not. So...
He did take a 10k cell, though,
yes.
Which brought him from like 16 to 6k. So one of the battleships got a good cell, though.
I think that was the Montana, or it might have been Republic. Can't remember.
Well, it's hard to tell when everyone wants you dead.
Yeah, pretty much, right?
Like, afterwards, after taking a cap, his gameplay was not very good. Not as a destroyer player, at least. What he should have been doing is going up the left side and just keeping the battleships perma-spotted. Or chasing after Shimakaze. But I wouldn't do that because there's a pretty significant detection and health disadvantage.
That's a good point. And if the battleships, if the Yamato especially does the typical Yamato, I'm going to drop anchor and reverse kind of deal, you can punish it with torps pretty easily. Cool. And I would agree. I would have liked to see him play a more active role even after that, we've just won this kind of moment that happens. Because that happens so much in ranked, right? You make the initial just awesome play and the team still finds a way to throw it. So you can't let your guard down.
If anything, the last two replays have shown the game's not over until it's over.
Absolutely right. Speaking of which, are you interested in doing another ranked replay? We've got some requests here for a tier 8 destroyer for ranked.
Okay. I can do tier 8 destroyers.
Cool, thanks. And by the way, thanks for hopping in. It's nice having somebody else, especially that, like you said, you're a destroyer specialist, so. So I've got Z-52 on Neighbors, and I've got a Benson on Sea of Hope.
Just thank you for having me on.
Oh, hey, no problem. I think it's nice being able to engage the community more, and get more of players like yourself. Get your voice out there too. So it's good stuff.
And I'm a pretty good destroyer player. Well, at least I have to be somewhat above average if I play for ZR, I guess.
So what would you like, sir? Do you want to see the Z-52 on Neighbors or the Benson on Sea of Hope?
One of the players in chat says he wants a tier 8 ranked game shown, right?
Yes.
Alright, let's do that. Since he's here.
Right, yeah. So I've got Z-52 and Benson. Those are the two choices.
Well, let's do Benson, because Benson's one of the meta destroyers.
Okay.
Z-52 is basically poor man's Lo Yang.
Don't tell that to some people. But I do agree with you there. The Hydro is just so great with the Lo Yang.
Well, if you play the German national anthem while